So, I'm going to talk about mental health, what it is, and what is obsessive compulsive disorder. So, I'm currently in school for psychology at Rosemont College. But in addition to that, I'm also in therapy for OCD and PTSD. So, what is post traumatic stress disorder? Post traumatic stress disorder is basically when a trauma occurs. Basically, when something happened to you and you don't know, basically, when something traumatic happens to you, trauma can come in many forms. Trauma can be direct contact, trauma can be from hearing what something happened to another kid or person or whatever the case may be. Trauma can be just from watching something on TV and then it gets stuck in your mind, or basically you try to associate it with something. For me, unfortunately, when I suffered with PTSD, it was rooted in my childhood. I didn't even know I was suffering from PTSD until it was discovered by a licensed therapist, a child therapist. So when I was little, something happened to me. It really scared the crap out of me. So basically, I find myself reliving that moment over and over again. Oh, what did I do? What did I do? Or am I a bad person? Or how would people think of me? And basically, it developed. PTSD was like the trauma, and then it developed into OCD. All I know is that the trauma took my life. Basically, everything I knew about myself was disrupted. My relationship with my son, my relationship with my family. I didn't know who I was or what I was. I didn't know how to identify myself no more. I didn't know who I liked or what didn't I like. I didn't know where I was going, where I wasn't going at. One point in my life, I felt so secure and safe in my body. The next thing I know, I'm like feeling unsafe in my body. Like, it was to the point that I would tell my nephew, stay home with me if I was alone with my son, because I didn't know what was going to happen. I became so scared of myself because my mind was infected with violent, intrusive thoughts. And I thought, well, if this is who I am now, then I don't want to be this person no more. Basically, I didn't want to live because I didn't know who I was no more. And who wants, I always consider myself a good person. And I don't want to live I don't want to accept or live thinking I can possibly hurt anyone. Whether it's sexual or whether it's violent or whatever the case may be. It's just something that scared the living daylight out of me. And basically, I can never explain this to my parents and stuff and other people. It was hard to articulate. And I was in denial of my OCD. I was in denial of my trauma. I was in denial of everything because I'm like, who am I? I didn't know who I was. And sometimes I was at peace and my mind was safe and things were quiet. But then if things were quiet and I didn't have some type of anxiety, then I felt like that wasn't normal. I felt like I needed to have that anxiety to feel safe. But then the anxiety that I did have would drive me crazy. It wasn't until Christine Hodges came out with POCD, HOCD, and other themes of obsessive compulsive disorder that I wanted to discuss this. I've been wanting to go on YouTube about my traumatic experience, but I'm scared of judgments. I'm scared of what people may think or what people may say, but I don't want nobody to suffer like I suffer. I want people to know that they're not alone. Like, I want people to know that we can help one another. Like, in life, we need to learn how to help one another, how to integrate with one another, how to make our struggles more positive. I suffered in silence for so long, so long. Um, and I couldn't even explain it for so long. Um, I felt empty. I felt sad all the time. I felt really depressed. Although I had everything in my life going for myself, I have a great job. I'm in school. I'm actually really smart. I have a great family. But yet, I'm basically I felt like beaten up every single day with these negative thoughts violating my brain. And it's coming from me, but it's not. It's not something I want to do. It's not something that I look forward to doing. It's something that scared the crap out of me. I want to talk about what PTSD is for a little bit because I became educated on it myself through my own trauma. So, what is post traumatic stress disorder? Basically, it's a disorder that you just hear like, oh, only war veterans get it. But people who suffer sexual abuse, people who suffer with neglect, people that suffer with other disorders, suffer with other types of trauma or experiences. A child going through a divorce, witnesses his parents. Like PTSD is nothing to be taken lightly. It's a disorder that disrupts the core of who you are. It takes the life out of you. It makes you feel alone. It makes you feel despair. Basically, you'll have re-images of things happening. You would get intrusive thoughts from trauma too. You would get you can't sleep, you can't focus, you can't concentrate. All you think about is that trauma experience. Your mind becomes fixated on it. You become consumed with it, whereas though you no longer can enjoy life. Your whole core of who you are is robbed. Your whole identity of who you are is robbed. You no longer know who you are in trauma. It's kind of similar to OCD, you know. Um, for me, I'm like, am I going schizophrenic now? Because I had trauma and OCD related. And I kept telling my therapist what was happening to me. One day I would share my story of what happened to me as a kid so that other kids don't have to suffer like I suffered. It's important to bring awareness of mental health, of obsessive compulsive disorder, of post traumatic stress disorder. It's not easy to put yourself on the front line, but somebody has to start doing it so we can make it okay to be like, mentally, I'm not always okay. But mentally, a lot of us are not okay. I sit with my friends or my cousins and my family, and I'm like, I know I'm not all the way present, but they're not even present either. And yet we raising kids and expect them to be okay, but we're not okay. Then you hear about all this stuff happening in the news about people hurting people out of nowhere, killing their family, or whatever the case may be. Then you're like, oh my God, like people just be snapping. It's like, are we really that evil? Are we really these people that exploit people, take their innocence, or whatever the case may be? Are we really that evil? Like, we can't be that evil. Um, we have to learn how to have empathy for one another, learn to have understanding, learn how to love again, love how to get back to that place of happiness. We need to start taking control of our happiness. It's easier said than do it. I suffer with PTSD/OCD, and even admitting it takes a lot. Sometimes my eyes get heavy. Sometimes I feel like a weight is on me, heavy. And sometimes I feel like I don't know what I'm doing from today to tomorrow. Am I like it's like I know the right thing to do, but I'm still focused on the wrong thing. I'm still focused on something that's happening. It's a really scary and alone feeling. Something that no one can really understand. But I know I'm not the only one suffering with PTSD, OCD, and mine came from sexual trauma. Sometimes they said they don't know what's rooted in OCD. In my studies and my belief too, when me going to school, a lot of OCD is rooted in trauma that therapists don't seek to look more into like the issues, the underlying issues. You just don't wake up with intrusive thoughts. You just don't wake up feeling unsafe in your body. It's all rooted somewhere. The root cause is somewhere that we get stuck in. Like, it's just what it is. Like, it's like, sometimes I'm like, maybe I just don't want to be happy. Or I don't even know what happy feels like anymore. Or normal feels like. Or even if I'm at peace and calm, I'm like, should I be this peaceful? Should I be this calm? Like, what's happening? But that's a little bit about me. I'm going to keep checking in every 2 to 3 weeks, talking about my different courses of therapy, what I did to help me, my PTSD, my OCD, giving y'all a little bit more about my story as I continue to through these YouTube channels. Thank you and have a great day, and subscribe. Leave a comment.